The United States, which still kind of counts as a country, we don't have a border anymore. It's wild. With all the fun and excitement happening in Washington and New York, we're forgetting about the border, of course, and the problem is worse than ever before. Literally ever before, since they started tracking this stuff. It is so bad, so open, so many people are coming, even the fake news can't ignore it.
New numbers from down there reveal the historic scope of the migrant surge. Top Border Patrol officials telling NBC News correspondent Julia Ainsley it's like nothing they've ever seen before. Take a look.
Despite scorching summer heat, the record migrant surge is growing. 210,000 apprehensions by Border Patrol in July, a more than 20-year high, and 19,000 unaccompanied children were picked up, the largest number ever recorded.
Now, I'm a bit chagrined at these folks who are coming up. Didn't they listen to Kamala Harris? I know she made a special trip to Central America several months ago to give them a good talking to about the situation and address those root causes.
I want to be clear to folks in this region who are thinking about making that dangerous trek to the United States-Mexico border. Do not come. Do not come.
Wow, such an impassioned speech, and they blew it off. Most of them didn't even hear. They're still coming, and it looks like they're spreading COVID all over the place. Many people, including me, think that this is exactly what the Democrats want. Why? Well, globalists, they want the cheap labor. Democrats, they want the votes. With these people coming in, they can say anything about these people and how they vote. We saw all kinds of games played last time and possibly next time, because if they spread around COVID like I think they are, we're going to be in a perpetual pandemic state. And that's what a lot of folks want. Maybe even Joe Biden. I think he's just hanging on for dear life right now, doing whatever they tell him. But he's still throwing some attitude around.
Just two states, Florida and Texas, account for 1/3 of all new COVID-19 cases in the entire country. Just two states. Look, we need leadership from everyone. If some governors aren't willing to do the right thing to beat this pandemic, then they should allow businesses and universities who want to do the right thing to be able to do it.
Obviously, he's talking about Ron DeSantis, Republican of Florida. Probably the best on COVID in the entire country. Talk about a leader. He is the opposite of Joe Biden. He heard what Joe was saying loud and clear and shot right back.
Why don't you do your job? Why don't you get this border secure? And until you do that, I don't want to hear a blip about COVID from you. Thank you.
Good for you. Good for you, Governor DeSantis, because Democrats, in my view, especially Joe Biden, his team, they've always viewed COVID as an opportunity to be exploited, especially during that campaign. Rahm Emanuel got so excited about this when he was exploring the idea of a shutdown. Before the shutdown, he got so excited when he was talking about Donald Trump having to stay in the White House. And COVID turned out to be a huge gift for Democrats. Even some insiders are acknowledging. Take a look at this quote from probably the definitive book on the Biden 2020 campaign. Senior advisor Dunn told one associate what campaign officials believed but would never say in public about the disease's effect on Biden's fortunes. COVID is the best thing that ever happened to him. Absolutely. He could not have won without it. And maybe they won't be able to stay in power without it. It's clear that all kinds of games are being played. Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, perhaps the master of it all, as far as the game playing. Here she was at an event on Capitol Hill, the steps. You'll notice she's not wearing a mask. She's surrounded by people, but then they decide to take a picture. Watch what happens.
Oh, Corey had to run to a hit.
Housing is a human right on three. 1, 2, 3. Housing is a human right!
Woo! Thanks, guys. Everybody say whiskey!
Whiskey!
So much of the phoniness and dishonesty that's happening right now, you can see it all right there. And this border crisis that we started with, focusing on countries that are thousands of miles away and not our own border, there is something obviously wrong with that. And Joe Biden reveals, I think, what his real priority is. Check this out, please.
You may remember when we had this unaccompanied children of the border when Barack was president, he called me back. I was in Turkey and said, you got to take care of this. And I was able to get a bipartisan bill passed for almost $800 billion to go to the root cause of why people are leaving.
Root causes that's going to take centuries to fix. It's unfixable. Why would he be so concerned about root causes? Is Joe just a big picture kind of guy? Hardly. It's about money, politics, favors, and probably his own personal wealth.
For example, in one of the major cities down there, they said the crime rate's terrible. That's why people are leaving this particular city. But we have no street lighting. And the government said, give us the money. I said, I'm not going to give you the money, but I tell you what, show me what you need. I'll get contractors down there. We'll put in the street lights for you because there's a lot of corruption down there. And guess what? Violence came down.
So here's what I'm thinking. He's contracts, fixing the lights in a faraway country. Not going to give him the money. We'll send the contractors down there to take care of it. What does that mean? Hiring people, firms, money, favors, relatives. Take a look. You know he's got two brothers. You don't hear about him too much. Frank Biden and Jim Biden. We know all about Hunter Biden. This is the family business going back a long time. Take a look at this headline, please. A lot of folks forget that the Bidens were in the house building business in Iraq. Yes, Joe Biden's brother's company lands housing contract in Iraq. Let's go inside that story, please. It says the following. How was it that a newcomer in the business of home building, the Bidens, landed a massive and potentially lucrative contract to build 100,000 homes in war-torn Iraq? It really helps, Richter said, to have the brother of the vice president as a partner. It certainly does. See how it's done? Contracts, favors, money. We're not going to worry about the border. There's too much to gain from that. We'll have contractors go to build lampposts in El Salvador, and some people are going to get rich along the way.
You just watched Newsmax TV, America's fastest growing cable news channel, now in more than 70 million homes. You can get Newsmax TV on your cable system or check your cable guide. And if your system doesn't carry Newsmax, call them, tell them you want Newsmax TV, because we're real news for real people.